Hey, you, welcome back to the channel. And guys, I have to tell you that I'm not a big fan of conspiracy theories. Um, I don't like conspiracy theories because they go on and on without end. But though the fact remains that conspiracy theories have come true, right? Watergate, um, Enron, a lot of these were conspiracy theories that were found out to be true. So conspiracy theories can be true. So last video, I kind of think I was putting some people to sleep. I got comments of people yawning and they're so I think they wanted something a little bit more juicy. Apparently, the market roller coaster hasn't been enough for them. So in this video, I'm going to give you something a little bit juicy. Um, Bilderbergs, MasterCard, the Federal Reserve, are they the real owners behind Bitcoin? Are they the real power behind Bitcoin? And interesting enough, guys, this is another one of these videos where it kind of came out of nowhere. Uh, Strangely enough, where a lot of this information is coming from in recent times from me is much like how many of you get your information, just looking at some of your favorite YouTube crypto people. And strangely enough, the information is coming from our big YouTubers, Bitcoin supporters. Someone probably I would say are Bitcoin maximalists. And I'll leave some of their links in the description as well, so you can look at some of the information they've gathered on this. But a lot of it's come from me just being a fan, like much of you, and surprised to see that they're reporting this, information. And some of it is a little bit concerning, and I think we do need to pay attention to it. Make your own judgment about it at the end with the information that is available to us. But there are some warning signs there. There are some indications that we might need to pay attention to some things. So one of the biggest conspiracy, of course, being that the Bilderberg Bitcoins. I'm just going to read this little passage just from Coin Central. It says, this Bitcoin conspiracy claims that members of the Bilderberg Group, the Federal Reserve, and MasterCard conspired to take over the Bitcoin market through the use of subsidiaries. The Bilderberg Group is a private organization that consists of many of the most influential people in the world. The theory is that the Bilderberg Group, through its subsidiary AXA Strategic Ventures, invested $55 million into Blockstream. And they're showing here a picture of the Bilderbergs Lodge here. Now, as I looked at some of the evidence, of what was happening here, some channels went very much in depth, and they actually found out the names of the people. I believe one gentleman's name, he's actually the chairman of the Bilderberg Group, by the name of Henri de Castries. My French is terrible. This is, I think that might translate to something like Henry of Castries or something. But anyway, uh, apparently he was involved along with MasterCard and members of the Federal Reserve. I forget the gentleman's name who's a member of the Federal Reserve. Um, but they all conspired together. Now, when you think about MasterCard, obviously you're thinking, MasterCard might see, this is a threat to their business. They're probably valued somewhere around about 300-400 billion or something. And now you got a Bitcoin out like $60 billion, and they probably bought in early. But let me just rationalize it this way. Let's give this example. Let's look at it from this standpoint. Let's say there was a new technology emerging on the scenes, and the the future possibilities of it was that it could overtake your business. It could overtake um, uh, the banking cartels. It could pretty much just overtake everybody. And right now, this future technology is pennies on a dollar. So you can just buy it all up and pretty much control control the whole thing. at every interval of its success, or, you can do nothing and just go, oh, okay, well, we'll just wait and see what happens with this, what the people do with this, and just hope over the next 40, 50 years they're going to continue to use MasterCard in the banking system. So at some point, doesn't this kind of become, I don't even know if I would call this a conspiracy theory more than I would just call it kind of common sense, guys, or kind of taking a strategic position. Just think about the same with any kind of competitive business that has a technology that can destroy you. At some point in time, it would just simply make more sense for you to, if you can buy it up for pennies on the dollars, they haven't overtaken your position yet. You're billions and trillions of dollars ahead of them, and you can buy them up entirely, and you can control their success at any interval. You can crash the market on them. You can do whatever you wish. Very interesting theory. Now, when it comes to hard evidence, they have found some hard evidence, because they're finding that the people who are associated with them through Blockstream are actually part of the Bitcoin core, right? So they can always say this is evidence that they have people in. Now the problem is when they go into very much in depth investigation, they find out it's only like 4 members of Blockstream. So it's they're not able to control the code and the power, without, they just don't have enough people in yet, not yet. But the fear is they will move to get more people in over time. So now they want to monitor the situation. And we know they own a lot because they've been investing money like this since the beginning of Bitcoin. So they own a great deal of Bitcoin, right? And this has drove many to, go to, hey guys, it's time to get out of Bitcoin and just, we have to get another cryptocurrency. And this has to do with why I have been saying in earlier videos that Bitcoin forks, as much as people don't like them, that Bitcoin forks and hard forks, these might be good things. These might be security precautions against happenings like this. And these threats, guys, are very much real. Like I said, I don't like conspiracy theories, but to me, this doesn't even look like conspiracy theory. It just looks like common sense. I deep down kind of felt like something like this was possibly happening anyway, but I just never really looked into it. But since it's been brought to my attention and I think more and more about it, I see the issues with this. And unfortunately, if this is true, guys, it's really no saving Bitcoin as we know it. So how would we fight this? How would we deal with a problem like this? What can be done? Well, again, when I think of a solution, I would think of something like a Bitcoin fork, certainly similar to the project I'm doing, Bitcoin MYK. And I keep bringing that up because in these particular situations or the content that's coming out, it seems very relevant to it, because the only way that you would be able to fight something like this is good distribution, right? There's no other way you would be able to deal with powerful entities like this that are already well positioned, and they're not going to let this overtake their enterprises. No people who have power seldom will give up all their power and money and influence without a fight. So this is almost too easy. To kind of quote a movie type or cinema, or kind of take an example from that, kind of reminds me of the Matrix a little bit, the Matrix films. And what you would get in these Matrix films, you would get where the machine world figured out the way to control the masses of people was not to destroy them directly and take away things, but they would make them think that they were in control and that their systems were opposing the other systems. And then they reach a certain zenith, which the machine world, as we got to see, would destroy them totally. And then they start over from 7 human beings, and it would repeat. And they kept them in this controlled, false environment where they thought they were actually fighting against the machines and they were but part of the system. And I kind of think about that the way sometimes I look at Bitcoin with all the mystery behind it, who's involved, and sometimes when you don't know, they didn't know who's in control of the matrix. It's the same thing. Sometimes when you don't know who's involved or who's in control, it's good and bad. It's bad because you don't know if it's the bad guys, and it's and sometimes it's good if you don't know who's in control, because then you can't go to them and put a stop to them. And if it's a good project, you don't want it to be stopped. So the evidence they found all tied back to Blockstream and this company AXA8. But it does pose the question: if you were MasterCard, if you were the Federal Reserve and dealing with banking, going up against technologies that can one day destroy you, why would you want to invest in them in the first place? If you're going to develop some blockchain technology, wouldn't you just develop it on your own for your own sake? You wouldn't be like investing in Bitcoin Core, would you? I mean, I'm not a developer. I'm not a super technical person. Maybe some of you guys who are developers who know a great deal about technology behind Bitcoin and why they would do this, maybe in the comment section, you can give us a much better explanation as to this. But I am going to leave the link to two great videos that talk about this, big YouTubers who definitely aren't Bitcoin futzsters. Now, I like Bitcoin, but I have seen my share of problems in Bitcoin, and that's why I forked Bitcoin, which also poses another question. Everybody who forks Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision, all these various Bitcoins, aren't they really saying that they don't believe in Bitcoin? That they don't believe that Bitcoin is the right Bitcoin going forward? And so that comes up with a lot of questions. If you don't really believe in Bitcoin, why are you investing in Bitcoin? Why are they holding Bitcoins if they don't believe in it, right? Shouldn't they be putting all that value back in their versions of Bitcoin? So just questions after questions, guys. But from a business strategic point of view, it makes me suspicious. I'm not saying that it's true. What is true is that affiliated people with these groups are involved in Bitcoin greatly, value-wise as well. So, I'm not saying that that it's a big diabolical plan here, but I am saying there is evidence to what people are suggesting, that we should pay attention to this, and that from a business strategic point, doesn't seem to make a great deal of sense to me. But guys, anyway, tell me what you think about this. Again, my solution would be, because a lot of people make a lot of foot videos. People make a lot of videos that talk about problems, but they don't have solutions for them. I've tried to create solutions for our Bitcoin problems, and I can tell you this. One way to fight if something like this does happen, and it's possible it could happen, because value-wise, Bitcoin is only like $60 billion, guys. That's a drop in the bucket compared to the markets it could overtake. These guys have trillions of dollars, and they can buy they can buy Bitcoin out, and control all of Bitcoin, right? They don't have to destroy Bitcoin. But from my standpoint, the only way to defeat this, to combat this, if it were true, would have to be using a concept where distribution is so great that it would challenge these powerful, monopolized, centralized, powerful entities that control these networks, to the point it would be hard for them to fight back. And how we've planned to do that is, or what we're doing is, we're doing it through both a Bitcoin fork and both a universal basic income program, that they tug a war at each other, but through the process, it creates this decentralized value that's very important to weakening control of centralized authorities that could mean to do us harm. And so a lot of people, again, guys, are saying, pick another cryptocurrency if this is true. Unfortunately, who would you pick? Because many of these altcoins, unfortunately, they're only known because Bitcoin is known. And because their markets are so small, they have to move with Bitcoin, right? And then their networks, security wise, are very weak. And so they could easily be compromised. Even if you take something like Bitcoin Cash, they're only about 6% of the hash power of Bitcoin. So all of these people could easily be jeopardized security wise and controlled. Uh, a lot to think about, guys. I'll leave the link in the descriptions, but we should be aware as possible is what we're involved in. And the hope is this isn't true. There isn't, I would say, strong enough evidence to say it's 100% factual, but it does make things quite suspicious and make you think. So guys, maybe this video was a little bit more juicier and interesting than the last one. Since I got a guy yawning on my video, I hope he's watching. Maybe this will wake him up a little bit, taking a look at this Bilderberg beautiful lodge set to the backdrops of the mountains in where does it take place? Somewhere in the Netherlands. I forgot where it is. One of the princes of the Netherlands. I think he's one of the head guys behind this or something. But anyway, guys, that's all I want to talk about today. Guys, if you like juicy content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and until next time, take care.